As early as 1885, you had a team called the Cuban Giants. And they formed in New York as part of the Argyle restaurant. They were actually waiters. Thing is, the Giants become a major name. There were the Cuban Giants, the Cuban X Giants, the Page Fence Giants. I'm guessing you understand. The Giants, for some reason, it becomes a name associated with many of the African American teams. And the reason why they chose Cuban was to try and hide the fact that they were black. They were trying to say, no, we're Latinos and we're coming from here, but it really, people knew. People knew that they were black, and so this was a black team. And they would go and play against white semi-pro teams. They would go and play against other black teams. This was what was going on during this time period. And the trend continued into the 20th century, especially during the first Great Migration, when blacks moved to urban centers en masse. So cities like Chicago grew from 15,000 to 50,000 between 1890 and 1915. And we've talked about this, the first Great Migration, especially between 1910 and 1930. You have the explosive growth of all the cities. And that's why they became urban centers. And as they became urban centers, blacks in northern, midwestern, and later southern urban areas created black-run teams, their own leagues, the Negro Leagues, from 1920 to 1960. Rube Foster founded the Negro National League in 1920. Ed Bolden, along with Nat Strong, created the Eastern Colored League in 1923. And understand that it's not as though they were trying to help one another. In fact, they hated one another. They were trying to have the best league associated with them, right? And so for black entrepreneurs, it became a matter of, we're trying to bring in the most amount of fans possible. We need to do whatever it takes to do so. And so there was a bitter rivalry between those two men, Rube Foster and Ed Bolden. And their teams met for the Negro World Series in 27 and 28, each one winning once.